Urgent news about Adebayo at the Lakers has been revealed. Stay until the end to find out everything. But before starting the video, leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any important news about the Lakers. In recent days, a particularly intriguing piece of news has begun circulating within NBA circles. One that links Bam Adebayo to the Los Angeles Lakers. As the league shifts into off-season mode, with certain teams already out of playoff contention, trade whispers and speculation have begun to dominate the conversation. It's clear this off-season is shaping up to be an active one. The Lakers, one of the most storied franchises in the NBA, are reportedly exploring significant moves. After failing to land a major defensive piece at the trade deadline, the team appears determined to address that shortcoming in the upcoming months. It's become increasingly evident that they are eyeing a top-tier defensive center to solidify their roster. Numerous players have been floated as potential trade targets for the Lakers, but a fresh rumor has reignited discussions: the possibility of bringing in Bam Adebayo from the Miami Heat. The speculation emerged from a report by Jovan Buha, a well-connected journalist covering the Lakers for The Athletic. While he acknowledged Adebayo as a potential solution to the team's defensive woes, Buha also tempered expectations by pointing out the challenges involved in such a trade. "I think the crux of the issue is that the Lakers simply don't have the kind of trade assets that would tempt Miami," Buha explained. "Let's say you're in the Heat's position. Why would you want Austin Reeves when you already have Tyler Herro? Sure, there are differences between them, but in many ways they're comparable players. Reeves is 2 years older than Herro and only a year younger than Bam. So, what real advantage does that give you?" This comment from Buha brought to light the reality of the situation. Even though the Lakers might desire a player like Bam, convincing the Heat to part ways with their all-star big man would be a major hurdle. Miami, known for its fiercely competitive culture and loyalty to core players, is unlikely to entertain a deal that doesn't significantly benefit their long-term outlook. Nonetheless, that hasn't stopped the Lakers from surveying the landscape. Los Angeles is clearly in the market for a dominant defender. Someone who can anchor the paint and complement the offensive talents of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Bam Adebayo, with his elite defensive instincts and versatility, seems like a perfect fit on paper. He's mobile enough to switch on guards, strong enough to protect the rim, and experienced enough to play deep into the postseason. The Lakers front office knows that finding a player like that isn't easy. And even if Adebayo remains out of reach, the fact that his name is surfacing in connection with the team is telling. It signals that the Lakers are thinking big and aiming high. They're not interested in incremental improvements. They want a game-changing presence. Another player Buha mentioned in the context of potential acquisitions was Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins, who spent part of the season with the Heat following a trade from the Golden State Warriors, has shown flashes of brilliance, particularly on the defensive end. He might be a more realistic option for the Lakers if Miami slams the door shut on any Bam-related discussions. Still, questions remain. Who exactly will join LeBron and potentially Luka Doncic on the Lakers' retooled roster? Will they find the elite defender they're looking for? Or will they be forced to settle for secondary options? The uncertainty only adds fuel to an already blazing offseason. For Lakers fans and NBA followers alike, one thing is certain: Los Angeles is on the hunt, and Bam Adebayo's name is now officially in the mix. The idea of Bam Adebayo in purple and gold isn't just wishful thinking. It speaks volumes about the strategic direction the Lakers are trying to take. The modern NBA revolves heavily around versatility, switchability on defense, and big men who can do more than just block shots. Bam Adebayo fits that mold almost perfectly. Over the past few seasons, Adebayo has quietly become one of the league's premier defenders. He's capable of guarding all 5 positions, a trait few centers in the NBA can claim. He's agile on the perimeter, solid in the post, and possesses an elite basketball IQ. For a team like the Lakers, who have struggled at times with defensive consistency, adding someone like Bam could transform their identity overnight. The Lakers front office knows this. They've seen how far elite defense can carry a team, especially in the playoffs. It's no coincidence that their 2020 championship run was fueled by a top-tier defense anchored by Anthony Davis. However, Davis can't do it all alone. especially with the wear and tear he's accumulated. Bringing in another defensive stalwart could ease his burden and unlock even more from his offensive game. Of course, Adebayo offers more than just defense. Offensively, he's an underrated facilitator. Running offense through him at the elbow or high post opens up cutting lanes, backdoor plays, and motion sets, something the Lakers' often static half-court offense could benefit from. His presence could bring a new dynamic to a team that sometimes relies too heavily on isolation and star heroics. However, the road to acquiring Bam is complicated. The Lakers' current roster doesn't feature a treasure chest of tradable assets. Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and draft picks are valuable, but perhaps not enticing enough to pry away a cornerstone player from a team like Miami. The Heat are not in a rebuild, they're in win-now mode. Trading away Bam would only make sense if they were pivoting directions, and there's no indication they are. This leads to a broader point. The Lakers' ability to land a player of Adebayo's caliber depends not only on what they're offering, but also on the goals of the opposing front office. For Pat Riley and the Heat, trading Bam might only happen if a star-level player or an irresistible package is offered. And from Miami's perspective, Austin Reeves, despite his breakout performance, may not qualify. Still, the Lakers have leverage of another kind, opportunity. Playing alongside LeBron James is a major draw for many players. The Lakers are always in the spotlight, and with a reloaded roster, they can sell the idea of competing for a championship immediately. For some players, that's more appealing than a long-term rebuild or a mid-tier playoff run. The possibility of Luka Doncic also being in the mix only amplifies the intrigue. If there's even a small chance the Lakers can pull off a blockbuster that lands them Doncic and Adebayo, they instantly become title favorites. That vision alone might be enough to push the front office into aggressive trade discussions this summer. As the rumors swirl, one thing becomes clear. The Lakers are not satisfied with simply being competitive. They're swinging for the fences, and Bam Adebayo might be the kind of player who justifies that level of ambition. Whether or not the Heat will listen remains to be seen. But in the high-stakes world of NBA trades, perception can quickly become reality, and Bam in a Lakers jersey, once unthinkable, now feels like a conversation worth having. If the Los Angeles Lakers are eyeing Bam Adebayo as a transformative addition, the Miami Heat see him as something entirely different, a foundational piece of their franchise. The idea of trading him isn't just a roster decision. It's a philosophical one. It challenges the very identity Miami has built under the leadership of Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra. Adebayo isn't just another player in Miami. He represents everything the Heat value: work ethic, resilience, two-way versatility, and team-first mentality. Drafted 14th overall in 2017, Bam has grown into the backbone of the franchise. His development wasn't accidental. It was the result of years of investment, both on and off the court. In Miami, players are molded, not simply acquired. The team's famed Heat culture is built around accountability, conditioning, and sacrifice. Adebayo embodies those traits. He's a team captain, a leader in the locker room, and the kind of player that doesn't flinch in high-pressure situations. During their run to the 2020 NBA Finals, it was Bam who delivered some of the most critical plays on both ends of the court. So, for the Heat, trading Bam would mean more than just moving a star, it would mean altering the very core of their identity. Unless there's a generational talent or a clear path to contention on the table, it's hard to imagine Miami pulling the trigger. Moreover, Miami isn't in rebuild mode. With Jimmy Butler still playing at a high level and Tyler Herro continuing to develop, the Heat see themselves as contenders. Adebayo is key to that vision. He provides defensive cover for Butler, allows Herro to focus on scoring, and acts as a safety valve in the offense. Without him, the entire system shifts, and not necessarily for the better. Jovan Buha's comparison between Austin Reeves and Tyler Herro sparked plenty of debate. While both are talented young guards, their skill sets overlap in ways that make a swap less than ideal for Miami. Reeves is a smart, efficient player with a high basketball IQ, but he doesn't provide a clear upgrade or unique skill set that Herro doesn't already offer. That redundancy weakens any trade package the Lakers might build around him. Draft picks could sweeten the deal, but the Lakers don't have a bounty of future selections to throw around. The team has mortgaged parts of its future in previous deals, including the one that brought Anthony Davis from New Orleans. This limits their flexibility now. And from Miami's standpoint, why trade a proven all-star for uncertainty? Even from a financial perspective, Bam is locked into a manageable contract for a player of his caliber. The Heat aren't under pressure to move him for cap reasons. Unlike situations where a star is approaching free agency or expressing dissatisfaction, Bam has shown no signs of wanting out. His loyalty to the organization runs deep. That said, the NBA is a business and things change fast. A few disappointing seasons, a tempting superstar trade, or pressure from ownership can shift priorities. For now, though, the idea of Miami willingly parting with Adebayo seems far-fetched, at least from the outside looking in. Still, the rumors persist, and the Lakers' interest underscores how highly Bam is valued around the league. As LA explores every possible upgrade, they're bound to keep knocking on Miami's door. And while the Heat might not be ready to answer, just having the conversation puts pressure on both franchises to think critically about their futures. For the Lakers, Bam represents a possible future of dominance. For the Heat, he's the heartbeat of their present. In a league where stars drive success, it's a collision of ambition and loyalty, and it's only just beginning. As the NBA offseason heats up, few franchises attract as much attention, or pressure, as the Los Angeles Lakers. Every summer brings a new wave of expectations, and in true Hollywood fashion, the stakes are always high. This offseason is no exception. After another year of playoff disappointment, the Lakers are searching not just for upgrades, but for the right formula to make one last championship push in the LeBron James era. The pursuit of Bam Adebayo fits within a broader pattern. Los Angeles wants to win now. They've never been a team to wait for young talent to develop over time. From Wilt Chamberlain to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, from Shaquille O'Neal to Anthony Davis, the Lakers have built their legacy by acquiring stars in their prime and surrounding them with role players. This aggressive DNA is what led to their 2020 title, and it's what drives them still. In recent years, however, the strategy has shown cracks. The Russell Westbrook experiment was a misstep, as was the lack of depth that followed the 2020 championship. Injuries to Davis and age-related decline for LeBron have added urgency to every front office move. The team knows its margin for error is slim. That's why the current offseason feels so pivotal. The Lakers aren't just tweaking the roster, they're exploring foundational shifts. Adding Bam Adebayo wouldn't be just another trade, it would represent a new era of defense-first basketball, potentially preparing for life after LeBron. Bam could be the bridge between generations, a player young enough to lead in the future, but experienced and polished enough to contribute now. His age, just 27, makes him a rare asset, a current all-star who still hasn't hit his full prime. To make that leap, though, the Lakers will need more than just vision. Their trade assets are modest compared to other contenders. Outside of Anthony Davis, there are few players that rival GMs see as game-changing pieces. Austin Reeves has appeal, but not the kind that moves the needle in blockbuster trades. Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, if re-signed, and draft picks fill out the rest of the trade framework. But is that enough? This is where Rob Pelinka, the team's general manager, must get creative. Pelinka has proven willing to make bold moves, and he's respected around the league for his ability to navigate tough situations. But this summer he'll need to do more than maneuver, he'll need to convince. Convince Miami to even consider trading Bam. Convince LeBron James that the front office is serious about competing. Convince potential trade partners that the Lakers' assets are worth taking a chance on. And above all, convince the basketball world that the Lakers can still outthink, outplay, and outdeal their rivals. Meanwhile, other teams are watching. The Golden State Warriors, Dallas Mavericks, Boston Celtics, and Phoenix Suns are all plotting their own moves. The arms race in the West is relentless. Standing still means falling behind. Even if the Adebayo deal doesn't materialize, the Lakers' interest signals a deeper truth. They know what they need. This isn't a team searching blindly. They're targeting high IQ, elite defenders who can elevate their ceiling. They're prioritizing character and consistency, traits that Bam brings in abundance. That clarity could be the difference this time around. In a league dominated by uncertainty, the Lakers are locking in on their identity. Whether it's Adebayo or someone else, they're ready to reshape the narrative and take back control of their destiny. Every move the Lakers make is, in some way, a reflection of LeBron James' timeline. As the four-time NBA champion enters what could realistically be the final chapter of his storied career, the pressure to build a contending roster has never been more intense. Time is the most valuable asset in sports, and for LeBron it's running short. This context adds a layer of urgency to any potential pursuit of Bam Adebayo. While Bam is a long-term asset, his short-term impact is equally significant. He's a player who can immediately elevate a defense, contribute to winning basketball, and lessen the load on LeBron, physically and emotionally. That's critical for a player entering his 22nd season. LeBron has always been at his best when surrounded by high IQ, versatile teammates who can adapt quickly and perform under playoff pressure. From Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in Miami to Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love in Cleveland, the formula is consistent. Surround LeBron with players who can think the game and execute at a high level. Bam Adebayo fits that mold better than most big men in the league today. He's not just a rim protector or rebounder, he's a connector. Someone who can keep the ball moving, run dribble handoffs, make smart passes out of the post, and read defensive schemes like a guard. Those qualities would allow the Lakers to build more complex offensive sets without overloading LeBron or Davis with playmaking duties every possession. It's no secret that LeBron has significant influence within the organization. While he doesn't make final decisions, his opinion carries enormous weight. And though he hasn't publicly campaigned for Bam, the fit is obvious to anyone who understands his game. Adebayo's ability to defend elite scorers, cover for defensive lapses, and switch across positions would make life easier for a veteran like LeBron, who no longer has the legs to guard top wings every night. What's also clear is that LeBron wants to win another title, badly. He's vocalized this repeatedly, and his body language throughout the last season reflected a man frustrated by inconsistency and lack of depth around him. The window to add meaningful help is small. Waiting a year might be 1 year too late. On the other hand, this pressure puts the Lakers' front office in a delicate position. They must balance the short-term goal of maximizing LeBron's final years with the long-term health of the franchise. That's why Bam is so attractive. He serves both objectives. He's good enough to help them now and young enough to carry the team later. There's another factor at play: legacy. If the Lakers can secure another championship with LeBron, it would tie the franchise with the Boston Celtics for the most titles in NBA history. That milestone carries enormous symbolic weight for an organization that defines itself through greatness. Adding Bam, even at the cost of future assets, might be viewed as a necessary gamble in pursuit of that goal. And while the idea of pairing LeBron with a star like Luka Doncic has also emerged in speculative circles, the reality is that such a blockbuster would be much harder to pull off. Bam is more attainable, at least in theory, and perhaps even a better on-court fit given the Lakers' current needs. Still, pulling the trigger on a move like this requires conviction. It means accepting the risk that Bam may never become a superstar scorer or that the supporting pieces might not be enough. But for LeBron and for the Lakers' front office trying to extend his championship window, the bigger risk might be doing nothing. With each passing season, the weight of time grows heavier. And as LeBron looks for one more run at glory, players like Bam Adebayo may be the only way to make that run count. Whenever the Los Angeles Lakers are involved in major trade rumors, the entire league pays attention. But when that rumor includes a name like Bam Adebayo, an all-star, a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and a foundational piece of one of the league's most respected franchises, it doesn't just make headlines. It sends ripples through every front office in the NBA. To executives around the league, the mere suggestion that Bam could end up in Los Angeles is both alarming and fascinating. On one hand, it could signal the Lakers' return to elite status. On the other, it could accelerate an arms race in the already stacked Western Conference. The current balance of power in the West is fragile. Teams like the Denver Nuggets, Phoenix Suns, and Golden State Warriors are all in different phases of contention. Adding Bam to a roster featuring LeBron James and Anthony Davis could instantly vault the Lakers back to title-favored territory. That would change how other teams operate in the offseason. Moves would be countered by other moves. Aggressiveness would become a necessity. Rival general managers would also be forced to rethink their strategies. 4 small market teams building patiently through the draft. A Lakers super team would reinforce the challenge of competing without stars. For contenders, it would raise the bar for what all-in really means. Suddenly, holding on to assets like future picks or young players might seem less appealing if it means standing still while LA reloads. Then there's the question of fairness, or at least perception. The Lakers have long been seen as a destination franchise with advantages others can't match. Glamour, history, market size. For some around the league, the possibility of them landing yet another all-star, this time via trade rather than free agency, could reignite frustration about competitive balance. Yet others would argue it's simply smart front office work. After all, it's not about who wants a player, it's about who can offer the right package. If the Lakers pull this off, it won't be because of market size alone. It will be because they made the right call at the right time with the right assets. There's also the player perspective. For other stars around the league, seeing Adebayo in a Lakers uniform might change how they view their own situations. Suddenly, LA becomes a more attractive destination, again. Playing alongside a core of LeBron, Davis, and Bam is not only appealing from a basketball standpoint, but also from a branding and legacy perspective. That could influence future free agency decisions, or even trigger trade requests. Agents are aware of this. A move like this resets the league's perception of power. Suddenly, players might push to be part of something bigger, something historic. It's how super teams are born. And while it can create imbalance, it also fuels storylines, ratings, and rivalries, everything the NBA thrives on. From a media standpoint, it's a gold mine. Lakers rumors always generate buzz, but add Bam Adebayo to the mix and you have weeks of sports talk radio, debate shows, and podcasts speculating every angle. The league becomes more marketable, narratives more compelling. Still, none of this happens in a vacuum. The Heat have to agree. The Lakers have to commit. Bam has to be available. And the offer must be worth it. Until then, the speculation continues, but even that holds power. In the NBA, perception shapes reality. And right now, the perception is that the Lakers are lurking, ready to pounce. Adebayo to LA might seem like a long shot, but in today's NBA, long shots have a way of becoming breaking news overnight. While rumors and speculation dominate the headlines, coaches and analysts are already dreaming up the X's and O's of what Bam Adebayo in a Lakers uniform could look like. Beyond the blockbuster headlines and front office negotiations, the real question remains, how would Bam fit into the Lakers system, and what kind of basketball could this team actually play? In short, the potential is enormous. The Lakers, at their best, are defined by defensive intensity and smart, unselfish play. That's the very DNA of Bam Adebayo's game. While Anthony Davis has long been one of the most versatile defenders in the NBA, pairing him with Bam could create one of the most imposing frontcourts in modern league history. Both players can switch onto guards, protect the rim, hedge pick and rolls, and defend in transition. That kind of defensive range is rare, borderline unfair. Imagine a lineup where opposing offenses are constantly disrupted, unable to find mismatches because the Lakers switch everything, yet don't lose rim protection. It would free up LeBron to conserve energy on defense, giving him more juice on the offensive end. But the offensive synergy might be just as intriguing. One of the Lakers' biggest issues in recent seasons has been offensive stagnation when LeBron isn't on the court. The team lacks consistent secondary creators, and often relies on ISO-heavy possessions that break down in the playoffs. Bam could change that. Though not a traditional scorer, Bam is an elite facilitator for a big man. His ability to run dribble handoffs, find cutters, and operate from the elbows opens up the floor in ways most centers simply can't. Pairing him with Davis would allow the Lakers to experiment with high-low actions, elbow splits, and short roll reads that would make their offense far less predictable. Additionally, Bam's presence would allow Davis to play more freely. AD has often been forced into the center role, a position he has admitted he's not fully comfortable in. With Bam taking on the defensive anchor role and handling physical matchups in the post, Davis could slide back into his preferred position at the 4, where he can exploit slower defenders and attack from the mid-range more comfortably. LeBron, meanwhile, would benefit from having two high IQ bigs who don't need constant touches to be effective. The offense could flow through multiple hubs, not just through James or Davis. This kind of egalitarian ball movement is what separated the 2020 championship team from the versions that came before and after. Adding Bam could recapture that spirit. But spacing would be a concern. Neither Davis nor Bam is a natural three-point shooter, and LeBron, while improved from deep, isn't a volume sniper. To make this work, the Lakers would need to surround their new big three with consistent shooters, players like D'Angelo Russell, if retained, Gabe Vincent, or even specialists like Malik Beasley or Max Christie stepping up into larger roles. The coaching staff would also need to commit to a style of play that leverages Bam's unique skills. That means leaning into movement-heavy sets, quick decisions, and positionless lineups. It's not about force-feeding touches. It's about letting Bam's instincts enhance the group as a whole. There's also the question of personality and leadership. Bam is known for being a humble, hard-working player with strong locker-room presence. He wouldn't disrupt the existing hierarchy but would instead complement the team culture, something LeBron and Davis both value deeply. In essence, Bam wouldn't just be another star added to the mix. He'd be a glue guy who elevates everyone around him. And in a league where chemistry often matters more than sheer talent, that could be the difference between another deep playoff run or another early exit. If the deal happens and if Bam adjusts quickly, the Lakers may not only return to relevance, they may redefine what contender basketball looks like in the modern NBA. As the NBA offseason continues to unfold, the rumor linking Bam Adebayo to the Los Angeles Lakers remains a fascinating symbol of the league's current state. Ambitious, fluid, and driven by bold ideas. Whether or not the move happens, the speculation itself has already altered the conversation. Not just about what the Lakers will do, but about who they are trying to become. In many ways, the mere suggestion of a pursuit like this speaks volumes. It signals that the Lakers are no longer content with half measures or short-term patches. They are looking for something transformative. And Bam Adebayo, in many respects, represents that transformation. He is not just a name to fill headlines. He is the kind of player that defines a franchise's identity. Defensive cornerstone. Silent leader. Cultural pillar. If the Lakers were to land him, it would mark a strategic shift away from flashy scorers and toward substance, toward balance, continuity, and long-term structure. But there are obstacles. The Miami Heat are not a franchise known for giving up key pieces without overwhelming incentive. Bam is not just part of their core, he is the core. Trading him would mean Miami is either rebuilding or pivoting in a radical new direction. That scenario seems unlikely, especially without a massive offer. And that's where the Lakers might hit their ceiling. Their war chest is limited. They've used picks in past deals. Their young talent, while promising, may not be enough to tempt Miami. Unless a third team becomes involved, or unless Bam himself were to express a desire to move west, the path to LA is filled with roadblocks. Yet the Lakers aren't strangers to long odds. They've made seemingly impossible deals happen before. Pau Gasol, Anthony Davis, even LeBron James arriving in free agency felt at one time like a stretch. But when the Lakers want something badly enough, and when their vision aligns with timing, history has a way of unfolding in their favor. Still, this story isn't just about the Lakers. It's about how the NBA is evolving. Stars don't just chase glamour anymore. They chase situations, fit, opportunity, respect, stability. If the Lakers can position themselves not just as the biggest stage but the smartest organization, they won't need to beg for talent. Talent will find them. That's what makes the Bam Adebayo rumor so revealing. It's less about if he comes and more about why he would consider it. And for Bam, the decision, if it ever becomes real, would not be easy. Leaving the Heat means leaving a team that molded him, believed in him, and built around him. But joining the Lakers? That's legacy defining. That's headline history. That's a shot at immortality alongside one of the greatest ever to play the game. For now, all of this remains hypothetical. Talks may never happen. Offers may never materialize. The Heat may shut it all down. The Lakers may pivot to other targets. But the spark has been lit. And in the NBA, all it takes is a spark. One phone call. One bold GM. One player's quiet desire for change. That's how dynasties are born, or reborn. So as the offseason rolls on, eyes remain fixed on Los Angeles. Not just because they are always in the spotlight, but because, just maybe, something real is brewing behind the scenes. And if it is, if Bam Adebayo ever does suit up in purple and gold, the league won't just take notice. It will never be the same again.